The movie opens with Sergei being brought to a Russian prison. Sergei meets Semyon in prison, who is a big criminal, and Sergei has come to prison to kill him. Sergei breaks the lion's teeth and kills his henchman and him with the lion's teeth and escapes from the prison. In the flashback, we see Sergei and his younger brother, Dmitry. Their father, Nikolai, comes to pick them up from school. Nikolai tells his sons that their mother committed suicide because she was timid. Sergei and Dmitry get very sad after hearing about their mother's suicide. They ask Nikolai if he is taking them to their mother's funeral, but he tells them that those who commit suicide do not have a funeral. Nikolai is a criminal, and he wants to make his sons very brave, just like him. Nikolai takes his sons to Ghana to hunt a very dangerous lion. The lion appeared in front of Sergei and Dmitry. Sergei looked into its eyes, did not shoot it, and lowered his gun. At the same time, Nikolai reached there and fired a shot at the lion, which caused the lion to attack Sergei. The lion drags Sergei away. In the next scene, we see Calypso being given a serum by her grandmother, which is very powerful and can heal any wound, and she also gives her fortune-telling cards. This serum is a sign of her ancestors, so she asks her to keep this serum safe. She tells Calypso that you will soon know where to use it. Calypso gets a strange feeling and gets out of the car. She sees from a distance the same loin that Sergei has. A drop of the lion's blood falls on Sergei's wound, and then the lion leaves. Calypso gives Sergei some drops of this serum. Then they call the medical team to take Sergei to the hospital. Before taking Sergei to the hospital, Calypso puts a fortune-telling card on top of him. Sergei dies in the hospital, but after a few minutes, he comes back to life due to the serum. When Sergei wakes up, he sees a fortune-telling card with "Strength" written on it. Meanwhile, Nikolai and Dmitry reach the hospital and meet Sergei. Nikolai discharges Sergei immediately from the hospital and takes him to London. Nikolai tells Sergei, "I am sending Dmitry to America to study, but you will stay here with me because I want to make you like myself." Meanwhile, Nikolai shows the head of the lion to Sergei and tells him, "Now you don't need to be afraid." Sergei gets angry and he scolds his father and leaves. Sergei finds a letter from his mother in which she tells him, "You will never become a cruel person like your father." That's why Sergei decides to leave the house. While packing the things, he sees the serum. Sergei falls from the roof of his house, but nothing happens to him. Dmitry sees Sergei leaving the house and tries to stop him. Sergei tells him, "I'm not going forever. I will come back." Sergei meets a cargo ship worker and says to him, "I have run away from home. Will you take me to Russia in a cargo ship?" And he agrees. Sergei reaches a forest. At the same time, he hears the sound of a herd of wild buffaloes in the distance. All those wild buffaloes run towards Sergei. Sergei puts both hands on his head. Then a wild buffalo stands in front of him to save him. Sergei makes this forest his home and also discovers his powers, like he can jump very far and he can see and hear far away. One day, Sergei sees some hunters in the forest. Sergei quickly gets down from the tree and goes there. He sees that there are many dead wild buffaloes, and they don't have horns. Meanwhile, two hunters come to him and ask him to go home. Then Sergei kills both the hunters. Now the scene transitions to the present, and we see Sergei returning to the same forest. The next day, Sergei again sees some hunters in the forest who are killing wild buffaloes and taking their horns. Sergei stops them. Andrei Levine threatens Sergei and asks him to get out of the way. Sergei attacks them and kills some of Andrei's goons, but Andrei manages to escape. However, Sergei sees his car's number. Andrei goes to his boss's office where Sergei is present and discovers that his boss is dead. Sergei then proceeds to kill him as well, because his name is also on Sergei's list. In the same Russian prison, we see the foreigner trying to find Sergei as his mentor was killed by him. Meanwhile, a Russian police officer sees him. The foreigner hypnotizes the Russian police officer and kills him. Sergei finds Calypso and meets her, telling her, "I know you saved me long ago." Now that Calypso is a lawyer, Sergei asks her to bring him the details of the criminals included in his list. She tells him that she will tell him after thinking and leaves. In the next scene, we see Alexei, who has super strength like a rhino because he experimented on himself to become powerful. Alexei's enforcer, Bert, tells him that a hunter named Craven has killed Semyon in jail. Bert tells Alexei that he has a list of criminals, and whoever is on his list, he kills them. Alexei thinks that I will also be in his list, so he tells Bert that you find the hunter quickly. Alexei meets Semyon's colleagues, Captain 1 and Captain 2, to take over Semyon's business. He tells them that Semyon's business is now his, and one of them will become his partner, but they do not agree. Alexei shows his strength to them, but they shoot him, but nothing happens to him. Meanwhile, Alexei's snipers kill all the men of both Captain 1 and Captain 2. Alexei tells them that one of them will be his partner, so Captain 1 shoots Captain 2. Bert gives a USB to Alexei and tells him that I got it in the room. Alexei finds all Craven's details in this USB and also finds out that he is Nikolai's son. Nikolai comes to the hotel where his son Dmitri sings for him. Nikolai meets Captain 1 and tells him that I want all of Semyon's business. During this, Alexei's henchmen show up and start firing at Nikolai, but Nikolai and his henchmen kill all of Alexei's henchmen. Nikolai scolds Dmitri because his father was attacked, and he hides under the table like a coward. Sergei meets Dmitri and wishes him a happy birthday, and he goes to a hotel to celebrate his birthday with him, where he also meets Nikolai and they all drink together. Sergei brings Dmitri to the penthouse and sleeps him. Sergei tries to sleep, but he can't sleep, so he goes out. When he returns to the penthouse, his brother is not there, so he sees from the window that some people are abducting him. Sergei goes after them and tries to save his brother, but they manage to escape from him. Sergei goes to Calypso and tells her that someone has kidnapped my brother, and one of the people who kidnapped him is Tarkish, and he has a scar under his eye. Calypso says to Sergei that you go from here. I will find out about this person as soon as possible. Sergei meets Nikolai. Nikolai tells him that the people who kidnapped Dmitri are demanding $20 million. Sergei says to Nikolai, if they are asking for money, why don't you give them money? Nikolai says that if I give them money, they will consider me weak. Calypso meets her informer who tells her that the Turkish man's address. The informer comes to the foreigner and tells him that I told her everything as you told me. The foreigner kills the informer and then calls Alexei and tells him that he is coming. Calypso gives Sergei the address of that Turkish man. Sergei kills Turkish man's goons. Then he asks the Turkish man, where is my brother? He tells Sergei that I know you are Craven the Hunter. Sergei is shocked to hear this because no one knows that he is Craven the Hunter. Meanwhile, Alexei's henchmen shoot missiles at Sergei and they both fall down from the building. Before dying, the Turkish man tells him that your brother is with Alexei and he knows that you are a Craven the Hunter. Sergei brings Calypso to the Russian forest and shows her the serum. Calypso tells him that this serum can heal any wound, and this serum saved you. The foreigner comes to Alexei and tells him that Sergei is in the forest of Russia. Then they all reach the forest of Russia to kill Sergei. Sergei fights with Alexei's henchmen and kills them. The foreigner hits Sergei with a tranquilizer, hypnotizes him, beats him severely, and is about to kill him. Meanwhile, Calypso reaches there and shoots the foreigner in the head with an arrow. Calypso gives Sergei the leftover serum, and he gets up again and fights Alexei. Alexei comes in his rhino avatar and beats Sergei a lot, but Sergei manages to defeat him. Before dying, Sergei asks, who sent you my video? So he tells him that it was sent by your father. Sergei meets his father and leaves a wild bear on him, and that wild bear kills him. A few days later, Sergei meets Dmitri, who tells him that he has made himself powerful by doing experiments on himself. Now he will follow the path of his father. Sergei tries to stop him from doing so, but he doesn't agree, and the movie ends here.